Welcome to Prestige, a strategic worker placement game set in the Rococo era, where players compete to build the most prestigious castle. The game is played over 3 years, with each year consisting of 4 rounds or seasons. The winner is the player with the most prestige points at the end of the game. A key aspect of scoring is that each player has 2 separate prestige point markers, one for exterior extensions and one for interior decorations. At the end of the game, these points are added together, and half of the difference between the 2 scores is subtracted. Game setup. Place the main game board on the table and give each player their castle board and craftsman board. Each player receives their personal game materials, including 5 instructors, 12 workers, 20 marker discs, and 2 prestige point markers. Since you start with one basic building on your castle board, your prestige point marker for exterior extensions starts on space 8, while your marker for interior decorations starts on space 0. Each player starts with 5 gold and 3 starting craftsmen, Master Builder 1, Carpenter 1, and Plasterer 1. You receive additional resources depending on your position in turn order. Craftsman head tiles are stacked by type, with the cheapest available at the top. Additional craftsmen become available at the start of the 2nd and 3rd year. The event cards are shuffled and 3 cards are placed face down on the corresponding spots on each side of the game board. Place the light and dark blue condition tiles on the corresponding places on the game board. The ones on the top stay face down and will only be revealed during the game. Take 3 yellow bonus tiles per player and place them next to the game board. Each player places their resource markers in the first spaces of each track. Finally, place the season tracker on spring. Gameplay. The game takes place over 3 years, with 4 rounds or seasons each. At the beginning of spring and autumn, an event card is revealed with an immediate effect for the corresponding season, and another effect that will be resolved in summer or winter. In each season, players take turns placing one of their 5 instructors on an action space and immediately performing that action. The player order for future rounds is determined by how instructors are placed and is a crucial part of the game. It changes each round, and players can have multiple turns in a row. There are 6 different actions you can take in Prestige. To take an action, first place an instructor on the lowest free space in the corresponding area of the action track. Action 1. Raw materials from the resource plant. The resource income area on the game board shows how many units of a single resource can be acquired with one action. For wood, limestone, and marble, 1 worker must be placed for each unit of resource acquired. No workers are needed for gold. Instead, 1 marker disc is placed on the gold space. The first player to take wood, limestone, or marble in a season receives 1 additional resource unit, but an extra worker must be used for it. Expanding a land area by 2 or 4 spaces of a specific type allows the player to save 1 or 2 workers when acquiring those resources. Action 2. Place a building order. This action allows a player to build a castle component using a craftsman, resources, and workers. The required materials and workers must be placed on the corresponding craftsman order tile, but the construction is only completed at the end of the season. The Master Builder has an experience track. After each construction with a Master Builder, their experience level increases by 1, which can reduce the number of workers needed for future projects. When a building is completed, some workers become exhausted, indicated by a red number, and they are placed in the inn, while the rest are returned to the player's supply. At least 1 worker is always required for a construction, regardless of savings from experience or events. A craftsman can only handle 1 building contract at a time, with some exceptions for higher level craftsmen. In the last season, this limit is lifted, but additional costs apply. Action 3. Market. A player who chooses this action can perform any 2 different actions on the market. The first player to use this action in a season may perform 3 different actions instead of 2. Market actions include buying or selling resources, exchanging resources, or hiring workers. The cost for the market actions on the right side, such as hiring workers, increases after the first time they are used in a season, from 2 to 3 gold. Action 4. Expand the lands. This action allows the player to acquire a land tile, forest, limestone quarry, tax revenue, or marble quarry, for 3 gold. The acquired tile must be placed on a space adjacent to one of your existing marker discs, with an exception for marble. Placing a marker disc on a land tile permanently increases the corresponding resource income on the resource income area. If you place a marker on a tile already occupied by another player, you still pay 3 gold, but the other player receives 1 gold. Acquiring a land tile on an outer field allows the player to take a market condition tile, which provides improved market conditions for them. Action 5. Hire a craftsman. Players can hire a new or better craftsman by paying the price indicated on the available craftsman head tiles. The price is staggered, and the earlier a craftsman is hired, the cheaper they are. If you hire a better version of a craftsman, it replaces the old one. If your master builder is upgraded, their experience level is transferred to the new craftsman but reduced by 1. A craftsman cannot be upgraded if they currently have an active building contract. Action 6. Become the starting player. The player who places their instructor here first becomes the starting player for the next season. As a bonus for taking this action, the player receives either 1 wood, 1 limestone, or 1 gold. End of a season. Once all players have placed their 5 instructors, the season ends and the following steps occur. All building projects are completed. Resources are returned to the general supply and prestige points are awarded. The new player order for the next season is determined by the order in which instructors were placed on the action track. This means a player can have multiple turns in a row. Players receive their basic gold income and can buy back 1 exhausted worker from the inn for 1 gold. The season marker moves to the next season. If it is spring or autumn now, reveal the next event card on that side of the board. End of a year. After the winter round, players must discard wood for heating based on the number of building tiles they have. 1 wood for every 3 building tiles. If a player cannot provide the wood, they lose 3 prestige points for each missing piece. New, more advanced craftsmen are made available before the next year starts. End of the game. The game concludes at the end of the winter round of the 3rd year. The final score is calculated as follows. Add the 2 prestige point markers together. Subtract half of the difference between the 2 markers, rounded down. Add prestige points for any fulfilled bonus conditions. Convert your remaining resources to gold, with every 4 gold earning 1 prestige point. The player with the highest final prestige point total wins the game.